Good morning. Welcome everyone to this morning's hearing. As we get started, I'll ask Mr. Dong to read the docket, please.
Good morning. This is the application of Affordable Movers SC LLC for a Class E Household Goods Certificate of Public Convenience and Necessity for operation of a motor vehicle carrier. Mr. Chairman, other members of the commission, the docket's in order.
Thank you. We'll take appearances from the parties now, and if you'll get to a microphone when you do it, that way you'll be picked up on live stream.
Morning.
There you go.
Good morning, commissioners and chairman. My name is Rachel McConney. I represent Affordable Movers SC LLC, and we're just here to present our application for the Class E certificate.
Thank you. Welcome. Okay. Ms. Pittman.
Jenny Pittman and Chris Huber for ORS.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Anything preliminary that we need to do before we let Ms. McConaughey present the case? All right.
Your Honor, we'd like to enter our affidavit of the shipper witness into the record as an exhibit. That's been pre-filed.
Okay, we'll enter the shipper witness affidavit as hearing exhibit number 1. Okay. Anything else?
That's the only thing.
Okay, well, go ahead and present your case, and
All right,
we'll hear that now. Thank you.
Chairman, I'd like to call George Wilkinson to testify. He's the owner and operator of Affordable Movers SC LLC.
Yeah, now you're on. She's going to swear you in.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. I don't have to hold it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, as long as that red light's on, just speak into the mic, you'll be good.
Okay, yes, sir.
All right, thank you. And at this time, we'd also like to enter in the Affordable Movers SC LLC's amended application into the record, as well as his pre-filed direct testimony and the 2 attached exhibits to that testimony, which are the final proposed bill of lading and the final proposed tariff.
Okay. Okay, we'll enter the application, amended application, as hearing exhibit number 2. Right. We will enter, okay, Mr. Wilkinson's pre-filed direct testimony will be read into the record as though given orally from the stand. Okay, and we'll enter the tariff and the bill of lading as composite hearing exhibit number 3. And what, we've got some exhibits that you were wanting to enter? Those are the exhibits. Okay, I want to make sure I got everything covered before we got going. Thank you.
Thank you. So now I'll just ask George a few questions. George, could you tell the commission a little bit about yourself, kind of how you got into the moving business and why we're here today, what you're seeking from the commission?
Well, Your Honor, commissioners, ironically enough, I actually enjoy moving furniture. I know that it's kind of shocking to some people, but I really enjoy doing that. I originally had a towing company that I did before I got into moving, but you know, it's a similar scenario. You're operating a truck, and you know, you're responsible for the contents of the back. But I got into the moving business with my cousin, and we have been doing it, I'd say, for about 2 years now, doing labor services and a few other things in South Carolina. I've had decent success with doing it, which is why I'm here today to apply to get the Class E certification.
All right, thank you. And can you talk a little bit about your business plan, if you have short-term plans or long-term plans for expanding and operating your business?
Well, Really, I have long-term plans of continuing to operate my business. Number one, as you know, the state of South Carolina is continuing to grow. I think everybody here can agree with that, whether if it's Greenville or Charleston or even Columbia. You know, people are moving here from all over the country, and I think that you know, there's definitely a demand for more moving companies, and especially with my company, you know, I'm affordable movers. I know that, you know, a few other companies are, you know, a little higher than what my proposed rates are, and I think that that would be a great asset to the state of South Carolina to have an affordable moving service.
Thank you. And what type of customers do you plan to serve?
Well, I don't really discriminate. I want to serve anybody and everybody that needs my help, really, no matter where they are.
All right, and how do you plan to advertise your services?
Advertising is pretty simple. I use Google.com. I'm very familiar with the SEO process, which is keywords and linkments to, you know, getting that up on the search engine to generate phone calls. Also Facebook and Yelp and a few other outings, but generally Google.com is the way I do it.
And let's talk a little bit about your experience in moving household goods. What types of duties have you performed as far as that's concerned? Have you worked for other moving companies, or how did you end up deciding to open your moving business?
Well, that's a little more complex. My cousin worked for a moving company in Florida and really kind of got me going on it, and I've been doing it for people off and on, labor-wise, in the state of South Carolina, and I've probably got 2,000 moves underneath my belt as far as helping people move, unload, and load their trucks. So I've definitely got the experience.
All right. Are there any outstanding court orders or judgments against you personally or against Affordable Movers SC LLC?
No.
Are you familiar with the South Carolina laws, regulations, and rules which govern the operation of intrastate household good movers in the state?
Yes, ma'am, I am, and with the help of Mr. McGill back here behind me, he's made me very well aware of that.
Do you plan to abide by those rules?
Yes, ma'am, and yes, commissioners.
Do you have a certificate from any other state or the federal government to provide household goods moving services or any other transportation services?
No, ma'am, I do not.
Have you published notice of your application in newspapers in the state?
Yes, ma'am, I have Greenville News, the Post and Courier, and I can't remember the one here in Columbia, but I believe every major newspaper we have published.
That's great. And are you seeking statewide authority for your moving company?
Yes, ma'am, I am. I currently have operations in Greenville, and I also have operations in Charleston, South Carolina.
And does your company have is your company insured to provide these services right now, or do you have an insurance quote for providing these services?
My truck is insured and has been insured for 2 years, and I'm adding cargo today if the certificate is issued.
And are you aware of the insurance limits for both liability and cargo insurance required under the Commission's regulations?
Yes, ma'am, I do, and I also intend to pursue getting general liability and workers' comp to move forward and you know, help with. Not really expecting any claims, but you know, anything's possible when you're doing business. So I'd like to move forward and you know, better my business and myself.
And with your application and amended application, we filed a financial statement. Have there been any changes to your financial statement in terms of liabilities or anything like that?
No, ma'am, there hasn't.
About your rate schedule, are you aware that the rates that you have filed with your application are the only rates which may be charged for your moving services performed under your certificate?
That is correct, and those are the rates that I intend to charge.
Okay. Do you have any special rates for particular items or things that you will not move, or unusual items that you do move, like pianos, gun cabinets, things like that?
Other than what's in the application and what I filed with the ORS, I don't plan to do anything extra on the side.
Do you understand that you may only provide estimates to your customers based on your filed tariff, and that you cannot quote a set or fixed price for your services?
Yes, ma'am, and that's pretty much how we've done it the entire time. So we're good on that.
Okay. How many employees does your company currently have?
Four. Sorry,
4.
I didn't mean to. Things a little touchy there, isn't it?
Do you have any plans to add additional employees at this time?
Well, yes. Springtime's coming, and I don't think I have to tell anybody here. Home buying season is soon to be upon us, so that 4 will likely turn to 8 very quickly if they are to issue my certificates here today.
And how do you plan to train your employees and new employees?
Well, that'd be more of a hands-on. I know the commission has, said to, play videos for the employees to watch. But as far as moving furniture and moving households, there's so many moving pieces that are involved with, what the contents of somebody's house would be. So I would, any new hirees that I would hire on, I would personally take them with me and instruct them and show them the old-fashioned way of how to do it.
All right. And you said you were requesting permission to operate throughout the state. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, that is.
And you talked a little bit about the need for moving companies in the state, and we have already entered in our shipper witness as an exhibit, but is there anything else further you'd like to say about the need for movers in South Carolina?
Yes, I would. I'm just going to go back to my original statement. A lot of these companies have higher rate charges than what I'm proposing to charge. I think that there is a demand for an affordable move-in service in the state of South Carolina, and I've had great success with it thus far, and I've got many happy customers that like the rates and like the service, and I'd just like to continue that.
All right. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about George's equipment, and I believe that you all have some photographs that we'd like to enter in as exhibits as well. They're already lettered at the bottom as A through F.
Okay, we'll enter these as a composite exhibit, A through F, exhibit number 4. Exhibit number 4.
Thank you. So the pictures that we have here are of the truck for Affordable Movers SC LLC. It's a blue truck. You've got a couple photographs of the front, the side, and some photographs of the inside of the cargo area, as well as the driver's area inside. George, can you tell us a little bit about the truck and any other equipment that you currently own or lease or intend to purchase or lease?
Okay, the truck is my blue Freightliner M2. It's a business class. Like I said, I was involved in the towing business before I got into the moving. That's one of the best as far as trucks go. It's got power lift gate on it. It's definitely capable of moving anywhere in the state, and it's definitely capable of doing that safely. And I think that's the biggest thing with it. I have shoulder dollies, which is a vest that would hook to me and also hook to my partner. And there's a strap that goes underneath the middle of that, which would allow us to pick up heavier items such as credenzas or china cabinets without actually having to lift them via hand or by muscle. So we're operating smarter, and then obviously we have our standard appliance dolly, and that would be used for appliances such as refrigerators, washers, dryers, so on and so forth. And I think that's pretty much it.
Okay. And are you prepared to offer copies of safety certifications or testify that you understand that any vehicle that you lease or purchase to provide services under the safety certificate must undergo a safety check by South Carolina Transport Police?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Do you have, other than these pictures and the things that you've already said about the truck, is there anything else that you'd like to add about your equipment or plans to purchase or lease or expand with further equipment or vehicles?
Well, currently, I don't plan to expand with the equipment just due to the overhead cost of insurance, but, in the future, I just want to start with the certificates and move from there.
And do you have a preventative maintenance plan for your vehicle or for the other equipment that you have?
Yes, ma'am, I do. Any major repairs, I take it into the Freightliner dealership and have them provide maintenance on it with their licensed technicians. Other than that, I have a mechanic that actually lives with me at my house, so if it's a smaller repair, I could actually do it there on site.
Now, with regard to the bill of lading, are you familiar with the Commission's and ORS's requirements regarding the bill of lading? For example, that you have to give one to the customers for each move conducted by your company?
Yes, ma'am, I am. I'm completely aware, and I intend to fill one out for every job that we put on the truck.
And with regard to the bill of lading that's been pre-filed, I would like to note that we are waiting for the final PSC number, if that goes through today. And there's one change that will be made to the second page of the bill of lading with the terms and conditions. The tariff right now already states that customers have 30 days from the date that the move is completed in which to file a complaint with the company. And so right now the bill of lading says customers have 90 days to file that complaint. So we're going to be changing that to 30 days so that the bill of lading and the tariff will match. And then the other change to the bill of lading will be that the company's name and address and telephone number will be printed at the top of the first page of the bill of lading under the company name. And that's all the questions I have for the witness right now.
Thank you. ORS, Ms. Pittman, any questions?
No questions from ORS.
Thank you. Commissioners. Commissioner Belser.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Mr. Wilkinson.
Good morning, Ms. Belson.
Thank you for being here today. Appreciate it.
I appreciate that.
I have several questions to ask. They may sound hard. I'm not trying to trip you up. I'm just trying to understand, if you don't mind.
You go ahead.
We were just talking about the bill of lading, so I'm going to start there. Are you also aware that when you have the bills of lading printed, that they must be consecutively numbered?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
And you understand that that's so if ORS needs to come in and do an audit, they can keep track of all the moves that you've done. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Mr. McGill has made me aware of that.
Looking at the pictures of your truck, do you have a federal number? I see a DOT number on here, U.S. DOT number.
Yes, ma'am. I do have the federal number on there. I'm currently in the process of getting those activated. I believe I still have to file a surety bond. I was waiting until the commission processes this application today to file that.
But U.S. DOT has authorized you, that has provided that number to you. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And what would that allow you to do?
Well, until I came here today, I thought that was what you needed until Mr. McGill actually contacted me to get the PSC. So that would permit me to go beyond just South Carolina.
It allows you to do interstate.
That's correct.
So there's also, is that a MC number or an NC below the DOT number?
It's a MC.
Okay, and what does that allow you to do?
That's what allows you to go past the state of South Carolina.
Okay.
The DOT is you can have that just in state.
Okay. And looking at these pictures, it appears that the box on the truck is weather tight. It doesn't leak. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
I apologize. You might see some water in there, but it was kind of pouring the rain yesterday when I was taking those. I apologize.
So these are as is. These are very current pictures.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And but if I noticed something in your tariff about storing overnight. Would that be stored on the storage on the truck, or would you unload into a storage facility and then reload?
No, that would actually be storage on the truck. I would just place a lock on the box, and I would actually, my property is actually gated and fenced in where the truck is housed, and I would hold it there on the truck at that location.
And that's why I was asking if it was weather tight.
Yes, ma'am, it is.
You mentioned something, and I wanted to get into this. You mentioned that Mr. McGill contacted you, so, and you mentioned that you've had some experience and you've been doing some work for a couple of years. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
And so you have performed some household goods moves prior to filing the application?
It would have been quite some time ago, but yes, ma'am, I did, and I didn't. I was not aware of the PSC process, and the moment that it was brought to my attention, it wasn't but 7 days, and I was in Rachel's office to try and get this taken care of, because obviously I want to comply by the rules. I don't want to go to jail or anything like that.
And I'm not trying to trip you up. I'm not trying to embarrass you. I'm just trying to understand how we got here and what's going on.
Well, that's fine. I'm here to be honest.
And I appreciate that. So you've done a few moves, and have you also advertised on Google and the other places that you said you advertised?
Yes, ma'am.
And since you found out about the application process, have you turned down some moves?
Yes, ma'am, a ton of them.
Okay. So, and the reason I'm asking that is that you have identified a need in your area for movers.
That's correct.
Okay. And you're in Marietta. That's above Travelers Rest? Is that
Yes, ma'am, it is.
correct? Okay.
I drive to my clients. Usually I'll leave there and drive to them, and that's why I'm wanting statewide authority, is because, you know, I'd like to be able to go anywhere. If somebody calls in, they need to move in Columbia, I'd like to be able to do it. If they call in, need services in Charleston or Myrtle Beach or wherever it may be, I'd like to be able to come and move them.
Well, and you want to be able to move from Greenville area to Charleston also, don't you?
Yes, ma'am, that is correct.
Okay. You mentioned that you currently have operations in Greenville and Charleston. Where are you located out of Greenville? You mentioned your facility where it's gated.
Well, my facility is at my house in Marietta. By what I mean by Greenville is, you know, obviously Marietta is a very small city in Greenville County. There's not really much work there. So, you know, anytime we get calls, it's usually in the city of, or in the county of Greenville somewhere.
Okay. And also operations in Charleston. Do you have an office or somebody down there that's helping?
Yes, ma'am. I have an apartment there, and I've got 2 guys stationed there, and we provide currently just labor services until we get these permits here today.
Now, will you use the same truck for both places, or do you envision leasing or?
I've got a commercial account with Penske, and as long as I put my DOT and the PSC number on the side of the door, I should be able to operate with a leased vehicle in Charleston. Is that correct?
You might want to check with Mr. McGill on that, because there's some requirements for long-term leasing
Okay,
that are,
I'll check with him on that.
I can't give you advice.
All right. Well, currently we're just providing labor in Charleston, but yes, I would just go with, we will be using the same truck. If they're not going to permit us to do that, I don't have any problem driving down there with my truck and doing it.
Well, and if you do, you're correct. If you enter into a lease agreement, you do have to placard the truck with your
Yes, ma'am.
name, your contact number, your operating numbers as well, so.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to turn to your tariff very quickly, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
And I don't know if you need a copy of it or not. Let me find it. Oh, it's attached to your testimony. I'm sorry. Now, you have a truck fee.
Yes,
So
ma'am. That's correct.
the truck fee is $125 for up to 50 miles.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that round trip, or is that?
That's a flat fee. That's
But
round.
then if it's farther than 50 miles, there's another $2 per mile. And so
That's correct.
is that from when you leave your facility to the move?
No,
Or
ma'am.
from the move originating point to the terminating point of the move?
Basically, I know a lot of the companies are doing from their location to the customer's location. I don't really want to do it that way. I would like to start the clock, and some companies actually start their hourly clock when they leave their office. I don't feel that I should charge customers for my ride time. What I would like to do is charge them from their location to where they're going, because that's actually the service we are providing.
Okay. And then that, when you arrive at the location to originate the move, that's when the hourly rate for the truck and the movers and the labor would start. Is that
That's correct.
okay? And ending when they finish unloading at the terminating point.
That is correct, and not just unloading. Some customers have things that we've disassembled that we will have to reassemble. So basically, when all of the work and all of the labor and unpacking would be completed, once it is offloaded, that is when the clock would stop.
Some of them want you to place the couch here and put the bed up here and do that.
And then bring stuff back down, or bring it back up, or take it outside, or haul it off. There's a number of different things that could happen. Yes, ma'am.
And as far as packing, just from experience, I see a number of blankets and padding.
Okay.
You take care of all that.
Yes, ma'am. I actually do a little bit better than that. What we do is, anything that needs packing, as far as blankets, if it's an antique piece of furniture or china or so on and so forth, what I actually do is, I know you see the blankets there. My saran wrap's not in the picture, but I carry about 6 rolls of plastic saran wrap on the truck. So we're actually going to put the blanket over the furniture, and then we're also going to take the saran wrap and spin it around it. So we don't just have one layer of protection, we've got 2. Because number one, obviously, we don't want any insurance claims, and number 2, we don't want any unhappy customers.
Have you found that satisfied customers is a good advertisement, and you end up getting business from referrals?
Yes, ma'am, and I do a lot of that. Of course, I've had to turn some away since I've been notified of this, but yes, ma'am, I have. I've got a lot of success in Greenville, retirement communities, apartments, homes, real estate offices, and I've got some friends at the bank and so on and so forth.
Well, I appreciate you being in here, and best of luck to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. I sure do appreciate it.
Thank you. Commissioner Whitfield.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've just got a couple of questions, Mr. Wilkinson, and like Commissioner Belser said, I'm not trying to trip you up either. I just want a little clarity. You appear to be someone who's trying to do the right thing, and I just want to get a little clarity on a couple of things. One thing before I ask you the questions, I've heard both you and your attorney refer to getting permits or authority or whatever today. Traditionally, we don't do that from the bench. It is really up to this man on my left shoulder to decide when we vote on your case, but I'm sure the commission will work toward that expeditiously. So I don't want you to go away thinking that you're being punished or something, because we traditionally don't do that right here on the spur of the moment.
Well, Commissioner, I appreciate that. I'm not in any hurry. I might be 25, but long story short, my dad died in my arms when I was 19, and I've had to learn the hard way. So I know how things work.
Well, I certainly respect that. Lost mine recently too, and certainly respect and understand what you're going through. Couple of quick questions, if I could, related to Commissioner Belser's opening question to you about the decals and placarding. Typically, that US DOT number is a safety rating.
Okay.
And you've got that. That's what I think she was asking about. That has really nothing to do with your authority, either interstate or intrastate. Those US DOT numbers, do you already have a safety rating from US DOT, or is?
No, sir, I don't. I haven't had them very long. I applied for them back in, I believe it was September or August, sometime around in there. And I don't believe I have any safety rating. I followed all protocols from their office, but
Right.
I don't believe I've had it long enough to have any kind of rating.
But just for nothing to do with us, we're not federal, but, you know, if you get stopped and have those US DOT numbers on there, it might imply that you have, and I was looking at your application under the Fit, Willing, and Able exhibit on page 7, you do have correctly that you do not have a rating. I was going to suggest if you had it, maybe change that to pending or to yes, but you've answered it correctly, so your application is correct. I'd just be careful about using those numbers and implying something you may or may not have. The other thing, back to your MC number.
Okay.
You answered her. Do you have interstate authority, or is that pending, or what?
Pending.
It's pending. And that MC number, are those like leftover MC numbers from maybe someone else that had the truck or something, or is that going to be your MC number? Have they already given you a tentative MC number pending your authority?
Yes, that's a tentative number pending the authority. I'll have to call them and check with their office and make sure all that's correct.
Okay, and again, that's interstate and allows you to do interstate moves. I would just, beyond that, I would just like to thank you for being here. I'd comment on your photos. You talked about the age of the truck, but in my appearance, it looks like you got brand new wood on the inside of there. Either you got a new box or you went in there and put all new wood in there. It looks really sharp.
Honestly, I practice good work ethic. You know, at the end of each day, if I was to use the truck, or, you know, sometimes I haul my own debris. I do a little construction on the side in there, and I just, you know, I keep it clean and pressure wash it on a regular basis. And
I don't see a ding in that wood anywhere, so you must really be practicing what you preach. So.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that.
Well, thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioners, any other questions? Mr. Irvin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I represent the Greenville-Spartanburg area on the commission, and so I, too, want to wish you all the best. I'm impressed with your application and your attitude and demeanor. I think you'll do fine, but these folks are always a resource. If you run into a question or problem, you can call them at ORS and ask for advice. I'm sure they'll be happy to give it to you. You mentioned workers' comp, and as you know, once you get more than 4 employees, you're required by law to carry it, and I think that's wise to go ahead and get that in place before you begin work, because that, of course, protects your business, and you're required by law to have it when you get that many employees.
Yes, sir.
So
I fully intend to do that.
great. Wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Commissioners. Any other questions? Okay, just one more thing. I want to make sure you do understand that you're not authorized to perform any intrastate moves until that certificate has been issued by ORS.
Yes, sir, I do, and I appreciate that.
Good, great. Thank you. All right, any other questions for Mr. Wilkinson or Ms. McConaughey? All right, thank you very much. You may step down. That's okay. You're not the first one that has ever done that. Okay, Ms. Pittman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the Commission. Yesterday, on January 14th, ORS filed a letter in this docket stating that we did not intend to file any pre-filed direct testimony. Based on our review of the application, all applicable amendments, and our inspection of the applicant's records and equipment, we formed the opinion that the applicant is fit, willing, and able to operate as a Class E household goods mover in South Carolina. And at this time, I would like to move our letter dated January 14th, 2020 into the record as the next hearing exhibit.
Okay, your letter, the ORS letter, will be entered as hearing exhibit number 5.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. While we have not filed testimony, I do have with me today Mr. Thomas McGill with our Safety, Transportation, and Emergency Response Department. I'd be happy to put him on the stand if anybody has any questions for him.
I know Mr. McGill is chomping at the bit to be up here. So anybody want to talk with him? Make him feel good, wanted, needed? Okay. Looks like you're off the hook, Mr. McGill. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. All right. Okay, is there anything else to come before us in this case and this hearing? Thank you, folks, for being here. We will certainly take action on this as soon as possible so that we can get you on the road and working. So if there's nothing else, we are adjourned.